On Sunday, the 21st of April, 2002, The Observer printed this story. Much of Britain was exposed to bacteria sprayed in secret trials. The Ministry of Defence turned large parts of the country into a giant laboratory to conduct a series of secret germ warfare tests on the public. A government report just released provides for the first time a comprehensive official history of Britain's biological weapons trials between 1940 and 1979. Many of these tests involved releasing potentially dangerous chemicals and microorganisms over vast swaths of the population without the public being told. While details of some secret trials have emerged in recent years, the 60-page report reveals new information about more than 100 covert experiments. The report reveals that military personnel were briefed to tell any inquisitive inquirer the trials were part of research projects into weather and air pollution. One chapter of the report, the fluorescent particle trials, reveals how between 1955 and 1963 planes flew from north-east England to the tip of Cornwall along the south and west coasts, dropping huge amounts of chemicals on the population. The chemical drifted miles inland, its fluorescence allowing the spread to be monitored. In another trial, using zinc cardium sulfide, a generator was towed along a road near Frome in Somerset, where it spewed the chemical for an hour. While the government has insisted the chemical is safe, cadmium is recognised as a cause of lung cancer, and during the Second World War was considered by the Allies as a chemical weapon. In another chapter, Large Area Coverage Trials, the MOD describes how between 1961 and 1968 more than 1 million people along the south coast of England, from Torquay to the New Forest, were exposed to bacteria and germs, including those which mimicked anthrax. These releases came from a military ship, the Ice Whale, anchored off the Dorset coast, which sprayed the microorganisms in a 5 to 10 mile radius. The report also reveals details of the DICE trials in South Dorset between 1971 and 1975. These involved US and UK military scientists spraying into the air massive quantities of bacteria with an anthrax simulant and phenol. Similar bacteria were released in the sabotage trials between 1952 and 1964. These were tests to determine the vulnerability of large government buildings and public transport to attack. In 1956, bacteria was released on the London Underground at lunchtime along the Northern Line between Collier's Wood and Tooting Broadway. The results show that the organism dispersed about 10 miles. Similar tests were conducted in tunnels running under government buildings in Whitehall. Experiments conducted between 1964 and 1973 involved attaching germs to the threads of spiders' webs in boxes to test how the germs would survive in different environments. These tests were carried out in a dozen locations across the country, including London's West End, Southampton and Swindon. The report also gives details of more than a dozen similar field trials between 1968 and 1977. What the public want to know now is, are these tests being carried out today? What are the trails that we are seeing in the sky? What is being sprayed? Who is spraying the country? Are these tests being carried out today? These are questions we need answered.